In the darkness, an entire coalition force appeared.
Vehicles,
Formations.
thousands of personnel preparing for the operation.
At night, armored columns could even be heard approaching. There was only one major problem with this massive force.
Some of the tanks were made of rubber.
The radio traffic was scripted.
The army preparing to attack the adversary had never existed.
On a moving front, every withdrawal created a dangerous gap.
A gap was not empty space. It was an invitation.
Adversary observers watched roads, bridges, smoke, and radio traffic.
Even the absence of a unit left behind clear evidence.
Silence on the radio could expose a retreat.
The coalition needed time to move real units elsewhere.
But they could not leave the front looking abandoned.
Something convincing had to remain behind in the quiet sector.
This was not a fighting force, but a convincing shadow.
It had to look real from a distance. It had to look real from a distance.
It had to sound real after dark.
The enemy did not need certainty, only belief.
Their job was to make emptiness look occupied.
To build that shadow, the army assembled an unusual unit.
Many of these unique tactical soldiers were highly skilled artists.
Others knew how a military unit sounded on the air.
These highly specialized units were trained to deploy incredibly fast.
The staging project began with simple raw lumber.
Plywood and fabric masked the empty space behind walls.
Every architectural detail mimicked a common industrial structure. Artificial silhouettes rose up to define the skyline.
From ground level, the perspective looked perfectly solid.
Hidden cables powered the grid of artificial glow.
The artificial glow had to pulse like real electricity.
At dusk, the entire layout sparked into simulated life.
From a high vantage point, the site looked alive. Netting broke the outline of the hollow structures.
From the right angle, the stage felt complete. Light was the primary weapon against high-altitude observation.
They created tracks to imply frequent daily movement.
Misdirection was a core pillar of their visual game.
A neighborhood appeared in days where none ever existed. They built an urban ghost that demanded total precision.
The setup focused attention on an empty plot. The second layer of the illusion was sound.
Recordings were used to simulate the presence of activity.
Frequencies, mechanical whirring, and industrial hums filled the night.
Sound traveled much further through the fog than sight.
An empty road could sound crowded to the ear.
The third layer was transmission patterns via radio. Units had unique habits in their communication tempo.
Every pause and rhythm had to feel authentic.
Listeners searched for familiar patterns to identify threats.
The simulation had to withstand the closest scrutiny. The fourth layer was human theater, the human performance. Men performed the movements of units based elsewhere.
A casual sighting could become useful, deliberate evidence.
Rumors often traveled faster than actual reconnaissance units. The final layer was simple atmospheric detail.
An operational site leaves traces everywhere it exists.
So the fake site left those same traces too.
5 layers, 1 carefully engineered collective belief.
A fake image could fool a pilot for moments, but a fake site had to fool intelligence analysts. By March, the operation had reached the river banks. A major crossing was being prepared in total secrecy.
The real assault needed protection from all eyes. So the project built another false front nearby.
Not with divisions, but with simple, staged props. Artificial shapes spread across the field like ghosts. False structures pointed directly toward the riverbanks. Real tracks supported these completely unreal machines.
The airwaves suggested a large force was assembling.
The night carried the sound of intense preparation.
Across the water, the enemy glass searched for movement. The fake units held their position, silent and perfectly disciplined. Confidence grew as the hours of silence passed by.
The ruse had worked, completely and effectively.
Once the river crossing succeeded, the army vanished. Every trace of the deception was carefully erased. No one would ever know this army existed. The records were sealed in a classified file.
Hidden away for decades from the public eye.
These artists had achieved something impossible.
They had defeated the enemy with a lie.
Their legacy lived on in hidden military history.
A reminder that perception is the greatest field.
The ultimate proof of their success was the silence. And they left no witnesses behind. This was the Ghost Army.
Remembered only by the records they left.
History is full of ghosts, some made of wood,
Some made of sound, and some made of radio.
But all serving a single silent purpose.
The preservation of the truth at any cost.
A secret kept in the quiet of the night.
Until the story was finally ready to be told. The Ghost Army rests, their mission long completed.
Nature reclaims the spaces they once occupied.
The physical blueprints may rot away over time, but the echoes of their ingenuity remain.
Silent, unseen, and forever forgotten.
The Ghost Army is now history.